Alright guys, now we're going to start the installation of the CYCX1 Pro Gen 4 on my Aventon Adventure Fat Tire e-bike. This comes with 750 watt motor. It's not enough for me because I pull a trailer, I have a bad steep uphills, and it slows me down a lot, and I will back up a traffic behind me. Some drivers not patient and try to cut me off and put me in danger, so I decided to add more power since I had the Gen 3 on a Specialized Demo 8 and I love it. I decided to get this year model, which is the Gen 4, and install it on this bike. So as you can see now, the bike, I already stripped all the main component except the wheel, the rear wheel, because I gotta find me a rear wheel that doesn't have the hub motor, and I believe it's 190 millimeter 26 4-inch wheel. I'm still looking. Hopefully I found the right one that will fit on this bike. That way I get the best performance, because again, this hub motor has a gear hub, so basically there's gears inside. It's gonna probably fight my motor, but I'm sure that CYC can deliver. But again, to get the best performance and protect the motor, it's recommended to replace the rear wheel with a traditional regular mechanical one. So still looking. Hopefully I'll find the right one and it will fit on this bike. For now, I'm just gonna install it on this one, and I'm gonna also test ride it and show you that the performance. And then in the future, once I find the right wheel, I'm gonna install it and I'm gonna show you the performance after. So I already took all the components out. I took all the wiring, all the controller, the throttle, the display, the main harness, bottom bracket on this bike, so it's ready for installation. If you guys want to see that video how I take it apart, I'm gonna make another video because I don't want to make the video too long. Alright guys, so now I want to show you exactly what I did here. The only thing I did here, after I took all the parts from the Aventon, I run the main harness, the 1 and 2, through the frame out from this opening here, and then as you can see here is the two wires. One goes for the display, one goes to the throttle, so that way it saves me time. The only thing over here I took this, there's a bracket here, it's covering it, 3 screws. I took it out and then I run the wire and I pulled it out from here and put the plastic back to the bike. Alright guys, so now I'm going to show you all the parts here, all the tools that you're going to need to complete this job. Alright, so the first tools we're going to have is the Allen key. Okay, so this is the multi-Allen key that I have here. For me to speed it up, I already have the torque wrench. It comes with all the Allen keys here, the sizes, so we're going to need number 3 and number 8. Alright, so the second tool we're going to need is the adjustable wrench. The third tool you're going to need is the 16-notch bottom bracket tool. You're going to need this to install the cap, because this is what you're going to need, the 16-notch. Alright, so the fourth tool you're going to need is the crank arm puller tool. Now I'm going to mention some of the tools that CYC didn't mention. You're going to need it. So a rack, pair of pliers, box cutter, multi screwdriver. So you got the Phillips and the flat. This is the extra grease that I have from Park Tool. It's a really good product. I like their product, so I had it previously, so I said let me use it with this kit. Okay, this is another important one, they didn't mention it. Okay, the chain release and the shortener. You're gonna need soft head hammer, because you're gonna tap the spindle. I'm gonna use this power tool to speed up the process, and I have extra zip tie, short one and long one. The CYC comes with I think 5 zip tie, but I also gonna need the long one, so you might gonna need the long one if you have a fat tire bike. All right, so this was the tools required. Now I'm gonna show you the parts again. Of course, the motor. Here's the bottom bracket cup. You got some spacer for the bottom bracket. Next, the spindle. This is the 120 mil spindle. And then you got some spacers, a thick one and a thin one. This is the lock ring. This is going to protect your spindle from moving. Of course, we are going to have the crank arm. I already installed the pedals on it. Those are brand new. You're going to need the 9-inch Allen key with this version. All right, here's the other parts that you're going to need to install. This is the motor hanger. So this is going to keep the motor from falling down. This is going to go on top of your down tube. I already add some extra bolts because I have the steps through, and my frame, it's very thick, so it won't reach the motor, because the one that comes, they have 2 different sizes of those screws, and this is not long enough to reach the motor. So I decided to get 2 of those bolts. cut a piece of aluminum and attach them together. That way I can reach all the way to the motor. Next parts that it comes with the kit, the one I ordered, it was the half twist throttle, but I also have the factory thumb throttle. So the next one will be the display. So this is capable to do 72 volt. And then we have the speed sensor. Here's the speed sensor. This is gonna be attached to your chainstay on the frame of the bike. And this has a small light here. Once you power up the motor, this blinks because it has the Bluetooth module built in inside the speed sensor. That's it. This is all the parts that it comes with the motor, and those are the tools we're going to need to use it to install this motor on the bike. Alright guys, so now we're going to start the installation. So first we're going to do is we're going to take those 2 bolts out, and we're going to loose up this one here. Okay, so we're going to need number 3. So I'm just going to use my power tool to speed up. So I'm using a number 3 Allen key. 1, 2. Okay, and then be careful because we have a spacer underneath it. We're going to remove it, otherwise we're going to drop it. And now this one here, we're going to just loose it up. So now, as you can see, the motor mount upward. So now we're going to install the motor on the bike. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add some grease to the bottom bracket here. So I'm going to use from our tool. Now I'm going to apply first the standstill pin spacer first, and then we have 3mm and 7mm that I'm using. That will make a total of 10mm. So I'm going to put 10mm on that side, on the drive side, and 10mm on the non-drive side. Alright, so I'm also going to add a little bit grease to it. I'm going to put it in from the drive side. I'm going to push it in through the bottom bracket. Now I'm going to swing back the motor mount, and I'm gonna grab the spacer and one of the bolts. Alright, so that's one. And now I'm gonna put the second spacer and the bolt. Spacer goes between the motor and the mount. Insert the bolt, and then we're also going to tighten this bolt on top. So next one I'm going to do, I'm going to add the spacer to the bottom bracket. So I'm going to use first the standstill thin spacer, and then I'm going to use the 3 and the 10. So the total will be 10 on this side, 10 on that side, and that will make it 120 mil. So I'm going to insert between the mount and the bottom bracket. Then I'm gonna insert the bottom bracket top. I already greased it up, so tighten it up. Now I'm gonna use the 16-notch bottom bracket tool. I also forgot to mention it. I did add a piece of rubber here to protect my frame from getting scratched from the motor. What I'm going to do is run the main harness to inside. There we have it. Okay. And the next speed sensor, I'm going to push it down. Also the motor, I'm also going to push it down. And now I'm going to lift it. Okay, and now I'm going to fasten this bottom bracket. As you can see it now, the motor is not falling down. I still have to install the motor hanger on top. This is what I said, because this is a step through. It has this piece metal here, so there is a long distance between the motor to the down tube. The step over doesn't have this area here, but for me, because it's a long travel from the top all the way to the motor, That's why I use 2 bolts on each side, and I use a piece of aluminum, thick one, and that way I can attach them together, and then it will reach all the way to the bottom. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to end up putting the spindle. So here's the spindle. This is the 120 mil. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to insert the spindle from the drive side, push it through the motor, and it's going to come out from here. All right, so the next is going to be inserting the spindle into the motor. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to grease it first. So gonna add some grease here. Now I'm gonna push it through. Alright, so I pushed it, it didn't go through all the way in. So I'm gonna make sure that my spindle engage with the torque sensor gearing inside, and make sure that when I try to spin the spindle, that the chain ring will spin with it. So it's going to be tough for me to do it with the hand, so I'm going to use the crank arm, and now I'm going to try to, as you can see, now it's engaged. So the only thing is left, I'm going to use my soft rubber hammer. It's all already in. Now we're going to go to the other side again. So as you can see, the spindle went all the way in. So what I'm going to do is add a little bit more grease. And now I'm going to add this thin washer first. Alright, so next installing the lock ring. So it's a clockwise. Now I'm going to try to tighten more of the lock ring. So there is a hole here. I'm going to insert my 3mm Allen key. A little bit tight. I'm gonna loosen it up a little bit. Now it's good. So next I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tighten this bolt for the lock ring. It's good. Moving freely, no problem. So next I'm gonna add spindle spacer, because I have a little bit more gap left. That way we'll close that gap. Now I'm gonna add some grease a little bit again. Now I'm gonna attach crank arm. So this is the left side, so I'm gonna make sure I put the left side, the non-drive side. So now I'm gonna add the 8mm bolt to secure my crank arm to the spindle. Now I'm gonna use my torque wrench. I'm gonna go over this later to make sure I have all the torque measurement done to the bolt. Alright, so this side is done. I'm gonna go now to the other side, to the drive side. Alright, so next I'm gonna attach the crank arm to the drive side. But first, before I put the crank arm, I'm going to use also the spindle spacer, the thick one. Before I do that, I'm going to put some grease to the spindle, to the spacer a little bit, and then gonna install the crank arm. And we want to make sure that the crank arm on the other side is facing down. So on this side is going to be facing up. So now I'm going to secure the crank arm to the spindle. I'm going to use the 8mm bolt that it comes to secure the crank arm. Then I'm going to move it to my torque wrench. That's good. Alright, so as you can see here, I have a gap between the motor and the bottom bracket. That's not good sign, because then it's going to end up bending mounting on the motor. So what I'm going to do, I already cut a piece of wood, so I'm going to push it between the motor, and then I make a opening here, so when I push, I won't push my wires and damage it. Fits perfectly there. Now I can bring the motor up. As you can see now, the down tube is protected from the motor. Alright guys, as you can see now, I already installed the motor hanger, so this is going to keep the motor up, it won't fall down and hit the ground. So I'm just going to tighten this bolts here, both sides, drive side too. Alright, so now the motor is fastened, so it won't move anywhere. Alright, so next I'm going to do, I'm going to connect the main harness to the controller. So I want to make sure that the arrow is facing the arrow. So now this is the arrow here. I want to make sure I get the arrow on this. Alright, it click. Great. So now the main harness is installed to the controller. Alright, so next I'm going to install the speed sensor to the chainstay here. Since this is a fat tire, there's a lot of space between the chainstay and the spokes, so it's not going to reach to the magnet. I already installed a magnet here. Okay, so basically you open the screw on the magnet and you push the magnet from this side, and then you put the screw back on the magnet and fasten it, and that way it will stay like this. Okay, so if I put the speed sensor right here, it's going to be a lot of gap between the magnet and the speed sensor, so it won't read it. It might give you error code. So what I did here, I took a piece of aluminum and I bent it and make it this shape. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use a zip tie to tie the mount to the chainstay. Okay, so one. Now I'm gonna attach the speed sensor to the mount that I made. So first we're gonna insert the zip tie. So first I'm gonna insert the zip tie through the opening, both of them, to make it easy for me. One. Alright, so now I'm gonna cut the extra. So now the distance is good between the magnet and the speed sensor. So now when I ride my bike, it's going to be able to read the speed and also won't give me error code. So now I'm going to attach the speed sensor to the controller to make sure the arrow faces the arrow, and it clicks. Once it clicks, that means it's all good. So the only thing now is left to apply a zip tie. This way my speed sensor wire won't hit the tire and get damaged. So I'm going to use more zip ties. Alright, so the speed sensor is done. Distance is good. In case if I have to adjust it, there is a screw on the side. I can open that up and get it closer to the magnet, but this is good enough. Alright, so next I'm going to add the display to the handlebar. Since this is a BMX, I'm going to use the small BMX version mount. Alright, so now the display is secured to the handlebar. Now I'm going to mount the controller buttons for the display. It's going to be nice position. Next, we'll be adding the throttle on the right side. So, going to use the half twist throttle. Alright guys, so now we're gonna connect the throttle to the main harness. So here's the main harness. So it's colored, so yellow goes to yellow. So make sure arrow face arrow. Next will be the display. It's colored green, so basically make sure again the arrows face each other. Alright, so now I'm gonna manage the cable so it'll be much cleaner. Alright, so now everything is installed. Nice cable management here. So I have the half twist throttle on the right side, and then I got the controller buttons for the display mounted on the left side. Now I'm gonna move to the battery compartment there. Try to manage the cable over there. Alright, so now I'm gonna put this mount for the cable. That way it will secure it when I put the battery back. It won't hit my wires. I'm gonna fasten those screws. As you can see now, the cabling is secure inside. So when I put the battery, it won't hit the wires. It'll be much easier. So next I'm gonna put the battery connector back here, so that way I can put the battery back and seal the battery compartment. Okay, it's gonna be 3 screws here. Just gonna speed up. Alright, so now the battery connectors, it's mounted to the bike. Now I'm gonna insert the battery. The last part I'm gonna add to the bike is the battery. So here's the battery cradle, and basically my battery is gonna slide in and it's gonna power up the motor. So I'm gonna mount it right here because I have a lot of room here. So this is a step through. I'm able to put a jumbo shark battery here. So I'm gonna mount it where the water bottle holder. I'm going to use those screws here to, it's going to be 2 bolts here, one there, and second one here. So now I'm going to connect the battery to the motor. Installing the battery. Alright, so now I'm going to power up the bike. I'm gonna press the red button on the top of the controller. As you can see, CYC motors. Start reading the voltage. As you can see, it's fully charged. 58 volt. Alright, so I'm gonna put level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5. So 5 level. You can also change it to 3 level, or if you want to go 9 levels. I'm gonna keep it level 1. Gonna test the bike, gonna test the throttle, see if the motor is gonna engage. Oh, I forgot the chain. Now I'm gonna put the chain back. Alright, chain linker. I'm gonna put the chain together. I'm going to use this tool. There we go, clicked. Alright, all good here. Alright, so let's run the motor. I'm going to start with level 1. Looking good. Beautiful. Alright guys, so the bike now is complete. The only thing is left is to do the test ride. So it's going to be a short one because I still have to work on the bike, and I'm not going to go crazy for a long time. I might do a short top speed, and I'm still going to work on the bike and improve it. And again, I'm going to change the rear wheel. Hopefully I found one with that motor, and that will give me the best performance. Alright guys, so I'm going to do a test ride now. The bike is ready. I took the battery out from there because I'm not using it. The Aventon battery is not powerful enough to power up the motor unless I use it on street mode. So I'm using the Electrified Bike Company. This is a Jumbo Shark battery. I also have another battery from Bicycle Motor Works. Those are the best places to buy high quality batteries. So the Bicycle Motor Works use a moly cell, which is more capable than this one. But this is a Shark battery which fit where is the bottle holder. So both will work. That one I got it mounted to the rear rack. So I'm doing a test with this one, and then I'm gonna add the second one on the rear rack. I'm gonna connect them parallel, and that's when I'm gonna do the range test on this one and see how many miles I get. But for now, I'm just want to show you the performance, the torque sensor feature on this motor, and then I'm gonna ride normally with just pedaling and show you how it works. Then we're gonna go on the race mode. Actually, I'm going to change it back to street mode. Now it's going to be street mode. It's legal. Won't go exceed 28 miles. So you can customize everything on this motor. You can do it 100 or 200 watts only. But then when you need the power, you can always boost it by switching it to the race mode. Like now, then I'm going to get the most out of it. I limit my power on the motor to 4,000 because this is 52 volt. It only has a 50 amp BMS inside. Once I put too much power on it, it's gonna heat up the battery, and the BMS gonna cut the power on the motor because it's trying to protect the battery from getting damaged. So 4,000 is good enough to go close to 40 miles, 41 miles. So even with the hub motor still on the rear wheel, I already ordered a tradition 26 4-inch wheel. Once I get it, I'm gonna replace it. That one's gonna have a free wheel. It's not gonna be cassette. I'm gonna find and see, maybe I'll put a single speed on it, and that's when I get the best protection to my powertrain. But it's nice to have a multiple gear, so we'll see how it's gonna work out. So again, the only other thing I did here is I changed the 2-bolt I used in the installation video, and I changed it with a full threaded rod. Now it's much stronger. It's holding the motor better, so it's not going to move from there. Okay, so other than that, basically I have my setup here. I have the app running for CYC riding app. Got the display on. You got the Insta360 remote. This is gonna give me the speed in the video. This is just basically horn and signals for my light in the back. So let me put it on, get it ready. Okay, so the lights ready, and I still have to put a front headlights on this one. It's going to be also from CYC. It's excellent headlights, but for now I just want to do a test ride here. I have a commute tires here from V Tire. It's a 3.5 inch wide. It's nice and smooth, quite right. It has a tennis armor liner inside to protect me from flat. So we're gonna test it out. We're gonna see how it's gonna perform. All right, guys. So now the camera is mounted. I just want to mention also, this is my second motor from CYC. I purchased last year the Gen 3 and I loved it. I have it on my Specialized Demo 8 downhill bike. I love the performance of that one. This is more for commuting or doing grocery shopping, pulling my trailer, and I don't want to slow down the traffic behind me and put me in danger. That's why I got this motor to add it to the Aventon Adventure bike. So basically, I love the look of this bike and I have a good quality parts on it. So I have a high quality brake on this one. It's a 4-piston brake from Mingura. The model is the MT5E. High quality will stop me. I need to stop, so we're gonna test it and see how it's gonna perform. All right, so let's start. All right, I got level 3 now. I'm gonna kick it all the way to level 5, the highest. But since it's a torque sensor, it knows how much I'm pushing, so it adjusts the speed on the motor. See, I'm going 10 miles. Going 12 miles. Nice smooth ride. Torque sensor working great. So now if I speed up, you can see the motor kick in. And it gets louder. Again, my chain is loose, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to stop now. So I'm going to stop and I'm going to put a strap to make the chain tighter so it's not loose. But I'm not going to be able to switch gear. I got to find a solution for that one. So that way the chain is not loose, because that's when it's going to start skipping and damaging my chain or damage my powertrain. All right, so here we go. Again, I'm on the street mode. I'm using about 400 watts, going 14 miles. So now it's a downhill. So make a left here. I'm on the street mode, going 60 miles. I'm on the highest gear. I'm pedaling. 17. It's uphill. 18, 19. All right, so I'm gonna kick in on the race mode. All right, so I'm on the race mode now. So all right, let's go. Alright, as you guys see, 45 miles top speed. Alright, gonna go back. I'm gonna speed up here because there's no bike lane yet. Going up now. Alright guys, now it's downhill, throttle only. Alright guys, this time I got it 42 miles top speed because my battery now is warm up. It's hot, so the BMS is gonna limit the power to the motor. And same thing, the motor is kind of probably warm up because I put too much pressure on the chain now, so it's giving some resistance to the motor. Plus I have a hub motor on this bike, so once I get a tradition wheel, it's going to be much lighter first, and also it's going to be less pressure on the motor, so it's going to perform better. Plus I'm using a 52 volt. If I use a 72 volt, easy going to reach 50, over 50 actually. And I'm going to build my own 72 volt battery. I'm going to build 2 of them, so if you guys want to see how I'm building the battery, I'm gonna have the whole video step by step how I'm doing. So if you guys want to do your own build, again, you got to be careful with the battery, so you got to know what you're doing. So just follow all the safety, that way you don't get in trouble and have something bad happen. So again, if it's not your job, give it to the professional. The best places to get the batteries is Bicycle Motorworks is the #1 for me. That's the first choice. I also got the motor from them, so they sell all the CYC motors, the 3 models they have. If you don't want too much power like this one, you can get the Stealth. That one peaked to 2,000 watts, and that's the second one. It's going to be a little bit smaller, less weight. Still going to give you close to 40 miles if you know, using a good quality battery. So it's going to perform. It's still going to perform really good. And it's going to be a little bit less noisy than this one. I don't mind the noise on this one. I actually enjoy it. That way it'll alert everybody else around me that I'm coming. It's like a muscle car, so I really enjoy it. So, alright, so now I'm going to head back, and you know, that's it for this video, because I've been working on this editing for this video. Every time I record the test ride, something wrong goes bad. The last one was the audio was bad, so I end up redoing it again. So hopefully I get it done today, and probably going to be uploaded to my channel. So again, my channel is all about modding the bike and making it better. The torque sensor on the Aventon Adventure 1, if you want to see that video, it's in my library on YouTube. And also, if you are 2.0 owners, you can put the cadence sensor on your bike. You just get the parts from Aventon and just follow my video, and you'll be able to get it done. Okay, I have 2 videos on Aventon, the upgrade and the downgrade. So if you guys want to watch that, go and check it out. I'm going to add the link in the description down below, and also going to add the link for the unboxing of this motor. If you missed that one, you can go back and check the unboxing, get all the details. So I have one more video coming up for complete test ride. It's going to be performance again. It's going to be another one. It's going to be the range on this motor using this battery. And again, I'm going to have a 72 volt build, and then in the future also going to do a range test for that one and see how many miles I get and what's the top speed I'm going to get. So that's it for this video. I'm going to head back home, enjoy the ride. Look at the torque. One, two, three. And there's a hub motor here, which is too much load on the motor, but still, I know there is no load, but with a normal Aventon Adventure, you don't have that much power, you know. It's just very slow. You have limited to 20 miles on throttle, but with this one, it's a top speed on the throttle, so there is no limit. That's the beauty of this motor, right? And the company keep improving and getting it better and better every year. So alright, so let's ride home. This is the average speed, 50 miles. A lot of riders do 50 miles. Here I'm just doing 15 miles. I'm using about between 200 to 400 watts. So if I keep doing this, the battery will last me long. But of course, not going to last me long if I do top speed. Here, 15 miles, and then when I need the power, I can always kick in. Since I'm on the race mode, anytime if I need the power, just use the throttle and the bike will go. We're going to test it here by the traffic light. Because again, a lot of drivers are not patient. guys, I'm gonna end up the video here. I'm getting to my neighborhood now. I can't drive. I can go fast here. It's my neighborhood, so I don't want to have complaints. I want to ride normally. I show you the performance, but that way you guys know what you can get with this motor when you convert your bike to e-bike. Again, this is capable to give you a street mode and race mode. So when you want the power, you have it, and if you don't want it, you can always pedal normally, like now I'm doing 8 miles going. It's a torque sensor. So alright, so this is it for this video. Now I'm gonna hopefully put it together and have the installation video ready hopefully by tonight, and you guys can enjoy it. So if you guys have any question, don't hesitate, ask me anything you want. And again, if this video helped you out, don't forget to give me a like, subscribe to my channel if you want to see more about modding bikes and making it better, upgrading, downgrading. That's my hobby. So if you guys into that, I'm always gonna do those kind of stuff, so you guys benefit from it. Again, we are here to help each other. My next one hopefully is gonna be the range. So if you guys want to see more of those bikes, subscribe and follow up with my channel. So again, I have one more in the future. I'm gonna end up converting. It's a Kona operator downhill bike. That one's regular, not an e-bike, so I'm gonna convert it to EMTB bike. I'm not sure if I'm gonna put the X1 Pro Gen 4 or I'm gonna put the Stealth. I might put a Stealth on that one. I don't know. I will see and see which one is gonna work better. Right? So if you guys have any question, I'm also gonna do another video about the screen, all the details, all the information, the app. Also another video shows the app complete, all the setups that I have on all my setting in the app, so I can show you all the details, how to get the best out of it. And also I'm going to show you another one that's going to show you the video. I'm also going to have another one for display, so I'm going to explain everything. I can go to the setting and show you all the details about this display. This is capable to do 72 volt. They only have 2 options now. Before they used to have the 750C. They discontinued that one, so it's only 2 options now. It's the 102 and the 103. So if you want the 72, you got to get the 103. If you 52 volt, get the small one. That's it's going to keep your handlebar clean. Just a small one is going to be on the side. It's a really nice display, but for me, I want to upgrade it to the 72 volt. That's why I got this display. So but you can always use your phone, open up the app and see all the details what I have now. So again, this is it for this video. Hopefully see you next time. Take care.